Next part of chapter 5 talks about your hair. George Carlin, he passed away a few years back, but he was a comedian, real funny guy. But he wrote this poem about hair that I had nothing better to do in high school, so I memorized it. Guys, remember records? Remember records? And I would play it over and over and over until I had it memorized. All right, here we go. I'm going to see if I not screw this up. And no, I'm not reading off a cue card or anything either. I'm aware of some stare at my hair. In fact, to be fair, some really despair in my hair. But I don't care, because they're not aware, nor are they debonair. In fact, they're just square. If they see hair down to there and say beware and go off on a tear, I'd say no fair. A head that's bare is really nowhere. So be like a bear, be fair with your hair. Show what you care. Wear to there, to there, to there if you dare. My wife bought some hair at a fair to use as spare. Do I care? Au contraire. Spare hair is fair. In fact, hair can be rare. For to stare is no hair, nor chair, nor chocolate eclair. And where's the hair in a pair? Nowhere, mon frere. Now they have shared this a hair at a fair, I think I'll repair my lair and use an air. Do you care? Look, I didn't even screw it up. What do you think about that? Okay, let's keep moving. We got to mix this crap up, don't we? Come on then. Wake up over there. Hey, you in the back. Wake up. So, hair's dead. Hair's dead. It's dead keratinized cells. It's dead. Right? You don't have any hair on your palms, your soles, lips, nipples, or your private parts. Oh, you got all this hair sticking out all over the place. Well, it tells you got a bug on your skin. Remember, at the very bottom of the hair follicle, there is a nerve plexus. So, once that hair bends, it triggers that nerve and tells you you got a bug on your back of your arm, but it's really sitting on your hair. Prevents or guards against physical trauma, protects against heat loss, and shields skin from the sunlight. So hair is called pili, strands of dead keratinized cells. So if you see those commercials with, oh look at, I got a long flowing hair, and oh look at the vitamin D goes right into my hair, oh, the vitamins go into my hair. Oh God, class, hair's dead protein. It doesn't work that way. So, but this is a different type of keratin than your skin. So hard keratin, not like the same keratin, the protein found in your skin. So it makes it tougher, more durable. Cells don't flake off. So the region of your skin, we got the shaft that extends above the scalp, and that's where keratinization is complete. And then the root goes into the scalp, and that's where the keratinization of your hairs keeps going on. And then your pigments. Now the pigments made by the melanocytes within the hair follicle. So it's all different types of melanin, different colors. So yellow, rust colored, brown, black, create all your hair colors. Red hair has got pheomelanin pigment in it. Gray white hair, well, you stop producing melanin, or you get little hair bubbles that replace the melanin in the hair shaft. So actually 2 reasons for gray/white hair. Then we have the structure of the hair follicle, which I'm not going to go into like big time detail with the structure of the hair follicle, but you got the bulb that's the expanded area at the deep end of the follicle. Then the follicle receptor, there it is, that little nerve plexus, sensory nerve, wraps around that bulb and is considered a touch receptor, because you can tell if there's something on the back of your arm, but it's not really on your skin, it's on your hair. Also, next to that bulb, there's this erector pili muscle. I showed you that earlier. So it's attached to the follicle, that little bulb at the where your hair kind of plugs into the dermis, and it contracts and gives you goosebumps. The hair papilla, that is actually a little knot of capillaries within the hair follicle to give your hair nutrients. Now there's different types of hair and hair growth. You got the villous hair, fine hair, body hair of children, adult females. Terminal coarse hair, scalp, your eyebrows. At puberty appears under your armpit, pubic region, but also can appear on the face and neck of males. Nutrition and hormones affect the growth of your hair, and hair follicle very active and regresses on average about 2 millimeters per week or so, and you're just losing hair all over the place. Like, you lose at least 90 scalp hairs daily everywhere. So in women, ovaries and adrenal glands produce a small amount of male hormones. But if the woman has a tumor to ovaries or the adrenal glands, well, they produce all kinds of male hormones. And what happens there, it results in excessive hairiness, hirsutism, and signs of masculinization because they have too many male sex hormones or high levels of male sex hormones called androgens. Treatment, honestly, remove the tumor of the ovaries or adrenal glands. So as you look at this, see, there's all the extra hair right there from too many male sex hormones. Oh my God, what's going on with this guy here? Hypertrichosis, a bra syndrome, and abnormal growth of hair all over the body. In extensive case, hypertrichosis, they call it the werewolf syndrome. This looks like the mythical werewolf. And see, the thing is with this person, they can go ahead and they cut their hair, they shave their face, and it goes right back real fast. So acquired hypertrichosis langusa can be present in cancer. Called it malignant down. Also linked to metabolic disorders like anorexia, hormone imbalance like hyperthyroidism, or can be a side effect of certain drugs called minoxidil. And also can be caused by genetics as well. So you go from hypertrichosis, losing your hair. Losing your hair is called alopecia. Hair thinning can happen in both sexes after age 40. So you got true, frank baldness. That's genetically determined. So they have what's called the male pattern baldness. So kind of like you look either side of your way up high on your forehead, right? And that's a response to a hormone called dihydroxytestosterone, or they call it DHT. Now, hair thinning, high fever will do it, surgery, emotional trauma, certain drugs, antidepressants, blood thinners, steroids, chemotherapeutic drugs. That would be what? Chemotherapy, like treatment for cancer patients. Protein deficient diet. There's sometimes that if a patient has anorexia nervosa, their hair will start thinning out. And then here's this weird one, alopecia areata. And that is an immune response. And the immune system attacks the hair follicle. And then just start to lose hair. Remember they did a little piece on that with this little girl going into, elementary school. And she ended up developing alopecia areata, lost all her hair. So some hair loss reversible. Others, like from burns or radiation, your hair is not going to grow back. And then your nails. Why do you got fingernails? Did you know anatomy and physiology is study of structure yet function? What's fingernails? Come on, why? Why you got fingernails and toenails? Why? Come on, come on, come on. Right there, guys. Active protectant cover for the distal and dorsal surface of your fingers and toes. That's why it's there. What is made up of? Well, let me think. Keratin, but this is a real hard type of keratin. Free edge, nail plate and root. Show you a picture of that. And then the nail bed is actually epidermis underneath your nail plate. And then your matrix, that's the thickened portion responsible for nail growth. Nail folds, that is where the skin meets your fingernail. Deponychium that's going to be the skin that projects onto the surface of the nail body called a cuticle. Hyponychium, that is actually the part where if you're doing some gardening, you get dirt under your nail. That's the hyponychium underneath your nail. And then you have nails will appear pink because of underlying capillaries. And, all right, look at the base of your thumb. Looking at the base of your thumb right now. Look at the base of your thumb. Looking at the base of your thumb. Okay, look at the base of your thumb. See that white area where the skin kind of meets the thumbnail? That white area is called a lanule or a lanula, and that's the active growing region. So that's what that is, which once again, I'll show you a picture of that as well. Any abnormal color to or shape of the nail would be indicator of disease. Indicator of disease. As you look at your fingernail, there's that lanula. Here's something known as your cuticle, eponychium. There's the free edge, body of your nail. And this is the active growing region right there. If your fingernail kind of works out that way. Once again, the hyponychium would be underneath your nails, where you're like digging in the dirt, right in there. As you look at this fingernail, well, this one don't look too good, does it? Huh? And see, it's kind of rounded over. Almost looks like a tree frog. It's called digital clubbing. Digital clubbing. So nail clubbing. Usually a low O2 in the blood. So it could be actually sign of various lung disease, someone with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, but also inflammatory bowel disease, cardiovascular disease, liver and AIDS will cause that abnormality of the ends of the patient's fingers called digital clubbing or nail clubbing. And your sweat glands, pseudo-odoriferous glands. All right, so they're all over the place except nipples and in your private parts. Got about 3 million per person. There's going to be two types, eccrine, they call them merocrine, sweat glands, and apocrine. And they contain these specialized cells. See, myo means muscle, right? Epithelial, myoepithelial cells. So what happens with nervous stimulation, it forces the sweat out of the ducts of these sweat glands and producing the sweat. So eccrine, merocrine, most numerous type, palms, soles, your forehead, and the ducts connect to a pore in your skin to regulate in body temp thermoregulation. So regulated by the sympathetic nervous system. The nickname for the sympathetic nervous system, see it right there, nickname for the sympathetic nervous system is called the fight or flight response. So think about it, someone scares the crap out of you. Well, it stimulates secretion of sweat. Their secretion in sweat, what's in that? Well, a lot of it's water, salt, some vitamin C, antibodies. All right, there's this protein called dermicin, kills microbes, and there's some metabolic waste products like urea, but in very low amounts. So once again, let's look at this. There it is. There's eccrine. See, it looks like all coiled up. And there's the pore going out to the surface of your skin. Going back to the hair follicle, there's your oil secreting glands. But right there, there's that little nerve plexus at the bottom of your hair. So when the hair moves, it triggers that nerve plexus. The other type of sweat glands, apocrine sweat glands. These are going to be under your armpits and then the anogenital region. This secretes a different type of sweat. Right, with eccrine is mostly water. Here is like viscous, milky, yellowish sweat. So a lot of fatty substance protein. This is one that's going to make you stink. So bacteria break down that sweat and you're a little right. So, and then larger, these are a lot larger, the apocrine sweat glands, a lot larger than the eccrine sweat glands. With their ducts, they empty into the hair follicle, begin functioning at puberty, and function, no, but they think it's the sexual scent gland, You've heard something known as a pheromone. Heard of a pheromone? So with a pheromone, well, this is without wearing any kind of cologne or perfume. Look at our bodies secrete fluids through glands in our body that contain pheromones, natural pheromones. So the vomer nasal organ detects these pheromones and sends a signal to the olfactory receptor. So here's your olfactory nerve way up there in your nose. And then the olfactory nerve goes to the hypothalamus of your brain. There it is. And that goes to the highest functioning part of your brain called the cerebral cortex, which stimulates emotions. So a pheromone can actually trigger illicit emotions in the hypothalamus. So attraction and sexual desire and arousal, ooh, they smell good. That's the pheromones. Heard of that before? With apocrine glands, with the apocrine glands, there are actually other types as well. These are modified spruminal glands. They produce earwax. Right? What do you got earwax for? That stuff's gross. Oh, it's like fly paper. So if anything gets into the auditory canal, it sticks to it. That's why. And then mammary glands are a modified sweat gland that secrete milk. Your oil secreting glands. Well, you got these all over the place except for palms and soles of your feet. And most develop from the hair follicles and secrete into the hair follicles. They're inactive until you hit puberty, and then, oh boy, you're just cranking out the oil, aren't you? That's stimulated by hormones in puberty, especially androgens, male hormones. They secrete this oily stuff called sebum. It's called halogen secretion, where you actually lose chunks of the cell actually come off the oil secreting gland. But they do have bacterial killing properties, and they soften your hair and skin. That's what you need the sebum for. So once again, all right, you look at the hair follicle, and there they are right there. Right there. There's the sebaceous glands right there. So it secretes onto the hair. All right, so for homework, don't wash your hair for like 2 weeks. You know, it's going to be all oily and greasy, isn't it? And then secretes onto the surface of your skin. On the surface of your skin. So what happens if these sebaceous glands get plugged up? Oil secreting glands. It forms a whitehead. So if it oxidizes, it forms, the whitehead forms a blackhead. So acne, infectious inflammation of the sebaceous gland. And you get a pustule, a pimple, is it. And the thing is, before you go grabbing the pliers and squeezing that thing, that whitehead, right, what it's going to do is, the more you play around with that whitehead and you squeeze it, right, it's just going to take longer to heal because you're going to push all that infective material kind of deeper down into the dermis, and then you're going to have, you won't have that whitehead there, but you're going to have one big red spot, aren't you? So put the pliers away. Overactive sebaceous glands. It's called seborrhea or cradle cap. I'll show you a picture. This poor little kid looks miserable, but appears pink, and these raised lesions just flake off. So look at that little guy right there, right? That's seborrhea or cradle cap. Function of your skin. Well, first and foremost, it's a barrier. It's good to have that barrier, huh? So function of your skin protects you. Body temperature regulation. Cutaneous sensation for touch and feel. Metabolic function. Blood reservoir. And get rid of some waste products. Not a lot. So as you look at this chart, well, like I say, mechanical damage, physical barrier with the keratin, right? Toughens the cells to help the cushion blows, so like pressure and pain receptors for within the nervous system. Until the nervous system, oh boy, we're going to get some damage going on there. Chemical damage against acids and base. So all those keratinized cells, they actually protect you. They protect you. But also, don't forget, you have all those receptors in there within the skin that tells you of possible damage. Then there's microbe. See, the thing is, your pH of your skin is like 5. So, unbroken surface, see, acid mantle. So, in this acid mantle, inhibits microbe growth. But also, remember, you got phagocytes within the skin as well. Here we talked about ultraviolet radiation, melanin by the melanocytes. And then you got hot, cold receptors. With the hot, cold receptors, also got pain receptors, like when you get frostbite. And then also, another function of your skin, prevent your skin from drying out. That's always a good idea. So you got water-resistant glycolipids and keratin, so your skin doesn't dry out. Also, function of your skin aids in heat loss or heat retention. So it helps you either try to keep you warm or try to cool you down, either one. So heat loss, well, it activates the sweat glands. You get vasodilation of the skin, or the blood vessels in the skin. And as the sweat evaporates, well, cools the skin down, cools you down. Heat retention, you get vasoconstriction of the blood vessels, so you don't lose a lot of heat to the skin, and try to keep your core temperature up. You do lose some urea uric acid, not much, by your sweat glands. And there's a sunshine vitamin, right? And they say you only need maybe 15 to 20 minutes of, exposure to sun and make enough vitamin D, and that's enough through your arms and your face. So with body temp, normal resting body temp is what? 98.7 or 37 degrees C. And so sweat glands produce, look at, if you're not sweating, you're still producing some. 500 mLs a day, that's a half a liter. You don't notice it. It's called insensible perspiration. But you decide you're going to go jogging on a hazy, hot, humid day, you can crank out the sweat. So if body temp goes up, dermal vasodilation increases sweat gland activity. Look at this. You can crank out up to 3 gallons of noticeable sweat. That's a lot of sweat. That's called sensible perspiration to cool the body. So the thing is, when you exercise, you're just going to exercise maybe for an hour and you're sweating like hell. Yeah, drink water, all right? Push the water. But if you're going to do some kind of marathon, then I would drink the water, but also you're definitely going to need fluid and electrolyte replacement. So Gatorade, or what works real well is Pedialyte, which is given for electrolyte replacement in pediatric patients. So that works real well. But that's if you're really going to hammer on yourself and you're doing a marathon or you're doing, say, an Iron Person competition. Then I would have tons of water, but also the Gatorade as well. And then for cold external environment, your dermal blood vessels constrict, so your skin gets very pale. So skin temperature drops. So it kind of shunts everything to the muscles and the deeper organs. Also, you have sensory receptors, cutaneous sensory receptors. Well, they respond to temperature and touch, so the free nerve endings. So as you look at this, right there, see that thing? See it right there? That was, follow down here, the laminar corpuscle to touch and pressure receptor. Also, we have free nerve endings right in here. Here's the erector pili muscle, and that's hooked up to the sympathetic nervous system. Remember, we talked about the bulb of the hair down here with the nerve plexus wrapped around your hair as well.